Well, we all agree that when we see sort of elements inside the private lives of our wonderful monarchy, we do like that peak, don't we? You know, it's that informality, that conversation caught on a hot mic, a camera, between people when they're meeting them out in the streets or at events that you think, fascinating stuff, because you get a real insight into how, of course, they really feel, you know, both William and Catherine, King Charles and Camilla, and of course our late monarch, who was very cautious about speaking, obviously, too untoward, as it were, when out and about. You know, there were one or two instances where people did sadly put them online, but they weren't detrimental in any way. I think they endeared her to the public. You know, people enjoyed them. I think this is a story really today that I wanted to share with you about exactly how some of the senior members of the British monarchy are truly coping with the sad demise of our wonderful late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thank you as ever for joining me today. Also, thank you, by the way, for your kind comments about some of the recent videos, including the one about the protesters wasting milk, pouring milk everywhere across those now famous department stores. Ridiculous, isn't it, when you think? And then daubing paint on New Scotland Yard's sign and spraying all over Harrods department store. What does that achieve, you know? And truly, the bigger problem that the police have is, yes, you can assign fines onto these people, but they don't have the money. It's the parents in the end that actually make them do it. But you can't always blame the parents. It is the rise of social media. That is a very powerful tool, you know, for very young people. They can make sure that you get indoctrinated into these ridiculous schemes. And I say that lightly. Back as ever, though, to your breaking royal story of the day. This story, you see, is fascinating for me because I've often said that animals are wonderful creatures. It doesn't matter what you look after, whether it be a parrot, a goldfish, a cat, a dog, whatever you have, they become chums, don't they? And don't tell me you don't speak to your animal. We all do. You know, you'd be shocked, wouldn't we, if they suddenly answered back, you know, like, yes, I would like to go out for a walk, and no, I'm fed up of that cat meat that you keep buying me the same thing week in, week out. We'd all stand back. Now, seemingly it's the royals are no different because, as we know, sadly, for both William and Catherine, they've really struggled with the sad demise of course, our late and wonderful monarch. So much so that William has spent a considerable amount of time recently up in Balmoral, just trying to come to terms. You know, it's what we all do when we suffer the loss of a loved one, and it can keep coming back at you, creeping up on you at any given moment. So it's reassuring to know that even he has turned to one of his man's best friend, as people might say, a trusted ally and friend, the King Spaniel, Ola the dog. It's the latest addition to the Wales' household. They used to have, of course, Luca the Labrador, but sadly they lost him a couple of years back now. Very trying time for them. And I know people might say, oh, they're just animals. They're not. They become part of you. William was at a walkabout recently discussing exactly how, you know, he's been able to sort of cope by getting lots of cuddles, talking to Ola the dog, the King Spaniel, which was gifted to him by Catherine's brother, James Middleton, a supreme dog lover. If you look at his social media posts, you can truly see he's at one with animals. It goes a bit further than that, though, because according to a very good source, the Prince of Wales really just likes to go out for endless walks with Ola, simply having long conversations. As he pointed out to a good source, look, he doesn't expect to get anything back, but it's a great way of getting things off your chest and making sure that, you know, you don't sound as potty as you may have originally thought. This really is a family trait because we are told that our late monarch used to love to go riding, often hours on her own, across, you know, the Highlands up in Balmoral, and she would often have long conversations, sound ideas out with her beloved horses. The reason why I'm sharing this is if you are a person who's struggling right now, and let's face it, a little bit like our monarchy, they are. It became a big unexpected shock. They didn't think that the monarch would go so rapidly, so quickly. So consequently, they're looking for ways to cope themselves. And there's so many people out there that truly, you know, have gone through all of this sort of situation. And I think by sharing those that we may think are, of course, of an elevated position, that, you know, well, they've got everything. No, they haven't. Like you and me, they simply turn to the people and the things that gave them great comfort in these very difficult times. And isn't it reassuring to know that even our future King of England, the Prince of Wales, seemingly finds that the best way to talk to someone is definitely someone that won't answer you back. I know, you're thinking like you, Neil. As ever, I hope you enjoy this short royal story of good this time. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.